For centuries, Europe believed it knew the world. From monastery libraries to royal courts, scholars traced the outlines of existence onto fragile parchment. Europe, Asia, Africa, 3 continents, 3 known realms beneath God's sky. Beyond them? Ocean. An endless, dark expanse called Mare Tenebrarum, the Sea of Darkness. No America. No New World. No Western continent waiting across the horizon. But how could an entire civilization, rich in trade, religion, and knowledge, remain unaware of 2 massive continents? The answer lies not in ignorance alone, but in distance, technology, fear, and isolation. This is the story of why Europe did not know the Americas.
Heave-ho, lads! Mind the ginger! More cinnamon coming through!
Medieval Europe inherited its understanding of geography from ancient authorities, especially the works of Claudius Ptolemy, whose maps described a world centered on the Mediterranean. His calculations were impressive for their time, but they were incomplete. Ptolemy's world ended in the Atlantic Ocean, and for over 1,000 years,
Europe looked
few
east.
Europeans had reason or ability to challenge that boundary. Trade flowed east. Silk, spices, and gold arrived from Asia along land routes and through Islamic intermediaries. The Silk Road connected Europe to China. The Indian Ocean Trade Network linked merchants to India and beyond. Europe looked toward sunrise, not sunset. To medieval scholars, the Atlantic was not a pathway. It was a wall. Maps reflected theology as much as geography. Many depicted the world in symbolic form, Jerusalem at the center. Paradise somewhere in the east. The west? It was empty. Not because it was explored and found barren, but because it was never explored at all. Audio content produced by VB.VN. The Atlantic Ocean is vast. From Spain to the Caribbean spans over 6.000 kilometers of open water. Today that distance can be crossed in hours. In the 15th century, it was a gamble against death. Ships were small. Navigation tools were primitive. Weather forecasting did not exist. Sailors relied on stars, compasses, and experience. Storms could destroy vessels in minutes. Supplies rotted, water turned foul. Many believed monstrous creatures lurked beyond sight. And perhaps most importantly, there was no clear economic reason to sail west. Europe's wealth came from trade with the East. Why risk everything searching for lands that might not exist? Without strong incentives, exploration stalled at coastlines. the Atlantic remained a psychological and technological frontier. It was not simply unknown. It was feared. Vietnam's top text-to-speech solution from VB.VN. And yet, Europe had touched North America before. Around the year 1000, Norse explorers sailed west from Scandinavia. Led by figures such as Leif Erikson, they reached what they called Vinland, likely in present-day Newfoundland. They built small settlements. They hunted, gathered timber, and briefly occupied the land. But the settlements did not last. Harsh winters, limited numbers, and conflicts with indigenous populations made survival difficult. Eventually, the Norse withdrew. More importantly, their discoveries did not spread widely across Europe. The Viking world was culturally and geographically peripheral to southern Europe's centers of learning. Their sagas were oral traditions, not widely circulated scholarly documents. No major European power followed up on their voyage. Vinland faded into legend. History almost forgot it happened. iVoice powered by VB.VN. While Europe remained unaware, the Americas flourished. In Mesoamerica, the city of Tenochtitlan rose from a lake, a metropolis of tens of thousands, with markets, temples, and complex governance. In the Andes, Cusco stood as the heart of an empire spanning mountains and deserts, connected by thousands of kilometers of engineered roads. These civilizations were not primitive. They were advanced in agriculture, architecture, astronomy, and governance. Yet they were isolated. No horses crossed the Atlantic. No iron tools arrived from Europe. No wheat fields replaced maize. And from Europe's perspective, none of it existed. Why? Because oceans isolate more effectively than mountains. The Atlantic was not merely water. It was separation, biological, cultural, technological. For thousands of years, the Americas and Eurasia developed independently. Two human stories unfolding in parallel, unaware of each other.
Land ho!
By the late 15th century, circumstances began to change. The Ottoman Empire disrupted traditional trade routes to Asia. European kingdoms sought alternatives. New ship designs, caravels, were stronger and more maneuverable. Navigation improved. And ambition grew. An Italian navigator named Christopher Columbus proposed a bold idea: reach Asia by sailing west. Most experts doubted him. He underestimated the Earth's circumference. He did not know another continent stood in the way. But in 1492, backed by Isabella I of Castile and King Ferdinand, Columbus set sail. After weeks at sea, land appeared. Not Asia, not India, but islands of the Caribbean. Europe had not discovered an empty world. It had encountered another one. A collision of civilizations followed, bringing trade, conquest, disease, and transformation on a global scale. The Atlantic ceased to be a barrier. It became a bridge.
Voice generated by VB.VN.
So why did Europe not know the Americas existed? Because knowledge requires contact. And contact requires distance overcome, technology sufficient, motivation strong enough, and fear defeated. For centuries, those conditions did not align. The Atlantic kept continents apart. Until it did not. The discovery of the Americas was not inevitable. It was contingent on ships, politics, ambition, and chance. For thousands of years, two halves of humanity lived separate histories. Then the horizon shifted, and the world became one.